Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is an Acer ConceptD, and this is the laptop that's been sitting in my shop for a little while now. I'm actually even scared to see how long it actually has been, because it's been a while. Now, the problem with this one, why it took so long, is because I had to think about it, and I had to order a stencil to rebuild the CPU, because we need to do a CPU swap, or at least that was the conclusion last time. But since then I did some measurements and I did a little more thinking, and I have a different solution to this problem at the moment. What is the problem with it? So the laptop, this is the board, the original board, right? The customer replaced the board because this one got fried. I don't know if that was a thunderstorm or whatever, power surge. The problem with this one that we identified was one of the VRMs on the CPU was shorted. We removed it, relieved the short, but the CPU is shorted. So what the customer wanted was to fix the original board using the replacement board as parts. In which case, we have to remove this CPU, remove the CPU from the replacement, and place it over here, right? Hence, stencil. Now, why would that be? Why would the customer want not the original or not the replacement board fixed, but the original board fixed? Because the replacement board has been installed, the computer turns on, it boots the system, but it doesn't charge the battery, and the GPU is not detected. Not in OS, not in BIOS. So it doesn't enumerate. The no enumeration problem usually is a result of either GPU completely failing, right? Shorted core, exploded core, or power failure. Or it also could be a CPU issue, it could be PCH issue, it could be actually more likely EC, SIO issue. The GPU might not turn on because power failure, or EC is not turning it on. The voltage is not enabled. Now let's consider those two faults. Are those two faults related? And typically I avoid explanations where we have two unrelated issues on the device. Usually they are related, and we should always prioritize the explanation that explains all of the issues at the same time, rather than having two or three different theories that explain two or three different faults. In this case, it is related, but, well, actually we don't know yet. We're going to find out today. But number one, why does it not charge? This board is not the same board as the original. And the main issue with that is that they might have different programming in both the BIOS and EC. Which means the battery might just not be compatible with this one, right? Because the battery, we have two cables over here. We recharge the battery manually to bring it so I can install updates, because you can't install updates if the battery is not like 40% or something. So the battery can charge and it can discharge, the battery is fine. But there is only a spike of charging voltage and it drops, right? So typically that means that the computer decided that the battery is no good. And it will decide that if the battery is just different, the programming in the battery is different than expected. It could be the type of battery, the number of cells, or what have you, because these are technically different boards. Now, if we take a look at the board, we can see immediately that, let's see here, right? We have a missing chip on this one. This is the replacement. And on original, we do have that chip, this one, right? But it is missing on this one. And few differences like that. Some chips are on this board and not on this one, and vice versa. So these are technically different boards. So that would explain the battery, but it doesn't explain the GPU. Why would the GPU not be detected? So let's consider this. First, let's see if the GPU is shorted. The easiest way is to just check the vCore, the VDD, or whatever you want to call it. Basically the main voltage that is supplied to the GPU. Let's see the resistance. We have 300, 400 milliamps, right? Minus the probes. The probes are about, oh, it says 400, almost 500 milliamps and 630. So around 100, oh, it's even growing. 100, 200, maybe even 300 milliamps on the GPU. Is that normal? Yes, it is. We can confirm that by checking the other board, right? If we get the same measurement, the easiest way, right? And if we confirm here, we have roughly 200, what is it? You know what, let's just take the milliometer. Okay, so we got 130 milliamps on this one, the original, that we expect the GPU works on that one. And we have around 178 on this one, so roughly the same, very roughly, but I conclude that the GPU is fine, meaning the core is not shorted. So now, let's do this. Here we have few resistors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These resistors supply VRMs on the GPU. So what should be the measurement? So first let's grab our reference board, and we basically check them one by one, right? So this one's around 28 ohms, about 28, about 2.5 on this one, the third one, around 4 on the fourth one, around 7 on this one, and around 5 or 6 on the last one, right? This is likely normal. And now let's check our replacement board. So the first one around 45, that's good. Second one around 45, that's good. Third one is pretty much shorted. It's not a dead short, but it's short enough. It should be around what? Oh, that was just the poor connection here. So let's check this one, also shorted. And this one, also shorted. And the last one, also shorted. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, was it 4? Yeah. So we have 4 of these resistors shorted. What does it mean? So these are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resistors. And each one on this side, right, that's where we're measuring, that's input or output. Now this is the input, right, and this is the output. That's where we're measuring, and if we flip the board, it connects to respectively all of these VRMs over here. This is the pin they take voltage from, right? Why is this one different? Okay, so all 4 resistors just supply these 4 chips over here, right? So this one is not vCore. This is feedback, it says, but well, it is plus FB usually stands for feedback, but in this case we see that this supplies the memory, these 2. So our memory is good, but we have a short over here on all of these, right? They are connected through the coil, so if one of those is shorted, they're all shorted. And looks like this is our problem on this board. So instead of swapping CPU, let's identify which VRM is shorted. Let's confirm that that is the problem, and let's try replacing it and see if that works. It's going to be way cheaper than replacing the CPU. All right, let's try that. All right, the board is out. We have soldered on the wire to one of the coils, right? So now the question is, what is going to light up? If one of these lights up, we're good. We're just going to replace it and it should work. But if instead the core lights up, which either case it will be because we're injecting voltage to the rail over here, right? We could lift the coils to just eliminate the GPU, but I did some measurements and it's not looking good. I was expecting, so with a milliohm meter you should be able to pinpoint which VRM is shorted. It should be relatively easy to confirm. I could not, which means it likely is not the VRM. But only one way to find out. Let's start injecting. So we're going to start with 0.8 volts. That should be safe for the core. The core should light up, but actually if the VRM is shorted, the core shouldn't light up because all the power should go through the shorted VRM. It shouldn't even get to the GPU, but we'll see. Okay, moment of truth. Nothing is lighting up because I didn't connect the ground. Let's see how much are we grabbing here. Oh, 1 amp at 0.8 volts, so that's not a short. That is not a short, unfortunately. So let's limit it to 400 milliamps. That should be relatively safe. And let's first check the core. Okay, I don't see any VRM lighting up, but that doesn't mean anything yet. Let's try increasing the current to 600. That still is relatively safe. And let's keep going. All right, this is 0.1 watt that we're pushing here, right? 100 milliwatts. That might not be enough for the VRM to light up. So let's just keep going. That's weird because neither the core nor the VRM lights up. So that tells me that it's most likely a VRM or something else. It's unlikely to be the core because we would see the core lighting up. This is 400 milliwatts that we're injecting. That isn't enough to break anything, but it is enough to see the thermal image. But none of the VRMs are lighting up. So I'm going to check the other side of the board in a second. But before I do, let's check it one more time. Because at this low power, this is going to be very minute light up, right? It's not going to be glowing. It's just going to be slightly hotter. Okay, let's check the other side. Although there's not much on the other side, but let's see. Nothing. So usually when that happens, from my experience, it's usually the VRM, because they dissipate heat very well. I mean, it still could be the core, but I think at 400 milliwatts we should see the core light up. So the power is going somewhere else, and it's usually the VRMs that are responsible. We could desolder the coils, but we shouldn't have to. Okay, that's enough. So here is what I see. If we push it all the way to roughly 3 watts, we see the core lighting up. So I'm not sure why my resistances seem the same on one and the other when I check on the cups. But when I check on these resistors, it's lower. Let's consult the schematic again. It's starting to look like it's the GPU that is fried. But if that be the case, let's do some more measurements to confirm. Because my initial measurements did not reveal GPU to be fried. which is weird because on those cups this is the same rail. So that's weird. So what we could do here is turn it on, right? Solder the wire, turn it on, and confirm with the oscilloscope that our voltage is going up and it's stable. But that still doesn't. So if the voltage is missing, what can we do? If the voltage is there and the card still doesn't enumerate, that's some weird issue. That would be a weird issue. But if the voltage is not there, that could mean the problem with EC. Well, I did order a stencil, right, to remove the CPU from this device. This guy, SRKT3, and put it on this device. Well, at least that was my idea before I noticed that these boards are not the same. And now, if they are not the same, the CPU might not be the same, even though they look the same. 04659, 04641. So is that a difference? I'm not sure. This number over here is different. What about that other number? The J, what is it? J147G. Yeah, this one is J140H. So it's not exactly the same CPU. And since the battery doesn't seem to work on this replacement board, then I don't know if the CPU is going to. See, the whole problem here is that, you know, the customer got the replacement board. He put a lot of work into swapping those little ZIF connectors. 2 of them had to be desoldered from this board and soldered on this board, and it works. It's you know, a lot of work that went into that, I bet, and a lot of frustration, and the board doesn't seem to work. Now the GPU core could be faulty. You know, resistance is just one measurement. You know, even if the resistance shows up good, it doesn't mean the core actually works, that the GPU actually works. I don't see any damage around it. I don't see any missing components. I don't see anything that would explain this behavior. Who is this for? It's for Mark. And I see the ticket was submitted 3 months ago, so it took a while, didn't it? Sorry about that. So here's what I can offer. You know, I ordered the stencil. I've never rebuilt a CPU like this, but it's not a huge CPU. I think we should be able to get that done. But if we swap the CPU, is it going to work? Because other than that, I need to also swap the VRM that was shorted and then just test the board. But what if it doesn't work? It's a lot of work to swap the CPU. A lot of stuff can go wrong. This is not a huge board, maybe, but big enough. Now this, well, there's no supports on the CPU, which is good. That backplate behind the GPU could fall during the procedure. Most likely it will. Yeah, we probably need to remove it beforehand because these are typically glued on, and as soon as I put it on the preheater and I preheat it to 210 at the bottom, it will just drop. So that needs to be removed. Then we need to remove this CPU, re-bowl it. Then we need to remove the old CPU, clean the board, put the new CPU on. The outline is not the best. In fact, outline is awful. Is it? No, actually, outline is not bad. Yeah, I thought it was only the outer outline, but there's an inner outline as well. So we need to just place this one on. Yeah, there's another line over there, right? Because I thought it was only that outer line, which would be not the best. But looks like we should be able to align it and solder it on. I mean, that itself is not a big deal, but the worst part of it is reballing. So now the question is, how much do we charge for this? What's killing me here is that this is a replacement board. You know, someone sold you the faulty board, basically. All right. Well, now the quote. I need to charge around $200 for this, which is still, in my view, not a worst price, not the highest price. I don't know what other shops would charge for a service like this, but it's a lot of work, especially reballing. So I got to charge at least like $200 for a service like this, but I can't guarantee that it will work because these are technically different CPUs. So I don't know. What do you want to do, Mark? You want to try CPU swap, or because $200 plus shipping and all that, we're getting close to, I don't know how much the replacement is, but probably at least like $600-700 for the replacement board. And if you get a replacement board for $500-600 and it also doesn't work, that would be crappy. But on the other hand, you pay me $200 and the board still doesn't work after the CPU swap, and it could be for a variety of reasons. It doesn't necessarily have to be the incompatible CPU. Maybe I messed it up, right? Overheated. Maybe there's a bridge underneath. One of the bolts didn't solder on properly. All kinds of stuff like that. So there's stuff that can go wrong. So I don't know. I just I would like to find a solution that works for you, so you don't waste any more money. But I don't see a golden solution over here. If there was anything that I see around the GPU, or a short or anything like that, then yeah, we could find it. But no, there's no shorts on VRMs. The core resistance seems okay, so the GPU seems to be fine, electrically at least. The other possibility, or the other thing that can go wrong, what if the CPU on this replacement board is the issue, right? So we replace the CPU and now this board doesn't see the GPU. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's a possibility. So there's like a lot of unknowns here. I'm gonna think about it for a little longer. Let's just confirm. So now that we have both boards out here, let's just confirm that the CPU is indeed faulty. All right, so this is the replacement. No, this is the original, and we have pretty much nothing on vCore. 250 milliamps, so around 200 milliamps, and on the working board we have that is unexpected. I thought I confirmed that. Oh right, yeah, I didn't confirm. Okay, we have 59 ohms on this coil, so this must be memory. And on this one we have 2.3. So is it the just different CPU, or is it shorted? 60 ohms versus 2 ohms. That doesn't sound right. Now on this one, this is the one that had, oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, since one board is laying on top of the other board, that's why I was making a short somewhere. So we have 13 ohms on the rail that the original board had a shorted VRM. And if we check on the original, on the same coil, we have 250 milliamps, right? So, yeah, this is no bueno. And these should be all the same, I think. And on the original, yeah, 13 ohms. That sounds about right. 10, anywhere from, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 ohms. 12, 13 ohms, yeah, this is good. So this is the resistance that the CPU should have, and we have 200 milliamps. So yeah, the CPU is definitely short. So CPU needs to be swapped, no way around it. and the VRM needs to be replaced. Tough case. Why can I never get like some easy cases? It's always something so intricate that it takes a while to figure out, but that's the business we're in, right? Well, anyways, Mark, let me know what you want to do. I'll probably email you and send you a link to this video, and let's figure out what to do with this. The stencils are on the way, so if you want a swap, it'll be in, I don't know, maybe around 2 weeks, because it's coming from China, obviously. Otherwise, it's just 40 bucks bench fee, and I'll put it together and ship it back. That's all I can offer at the moment. If anything changes, I'll let you know. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you, and I shall see you guys in the next one.